What's going on YouTube? It's Raka. I just want to record a video to put on YouTube for you guys. Shoeonhead just released a video earlier today. It's one of those things, like, I've always wanted to react to a Shoeonhead video, and seeing I'm a VTuber and a lot of YouTubers love reacting to her content, I might as well put myself on there as another person to react to a Shoeonhead video. Downfall of the Democrats, the truth about the 2024 election. And from what I've seen, the little bits and pieces of it is definitely a very, very good, funny video. All links will be in the description, so just, yeah, let's go and enjoy ourselves some Downfall of the Democrats by Shoeonhead. Really good video, really good person. Definitely go support them in every way or form. Let's begin. This is a really good one. I'm serious when I say this is a really, really good one. Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris will struggle to win unless it speaks to the long-neglected working class.
Election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
To Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support.
I remember watching a Saturday Night Live skit where they was waiting for the election to go through. It was a few people, and they were for Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton was supposed to be like, the news said she was going to win it hands down without no objection, and Trump kept winning states, and they were like having this massive panic on Saturday Night Live. It was a very funny skit. I'd recommend looking it up whenever you get a chance. It was when comedy was still not to worry about it being censored. Anyway, let's continue. Just seeing this though is kind of funny.
Among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN for...
As I can tell you right now, there are a lot of people on YouTube. A lot of people that, I guess you could say like Nux, for example, who enjoys the chaos. Chaos content creators really are going to be eating for a good while. That's all I'm going to say.
Projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is not winning.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is
it's not. Even Bernie Sanders agrees it's not.
no.
Now, hold on a second. A strong female, by the way. And in a couple days, I'm going to be releasing another video of another strong female talking about the election. This is just one I wanted to do, and I was going to release that one there first, but it's Shoeonhead, and I'm a fan of Shoeonhead, so we're gonna watch this, like I said. But I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders until he decided to take that horse in the back and you know, make sure that we had no real options. Anyway.
Well.
She had the stickers on the bottom of the glass.
Nothing, apparently. I regret to inform you, everything I predicted about the election in my last video came true and more. Men did overwhelmingly turn out for Trump, especially young men. But I was wrong about one thing. Young men weren't the only ones who came out in droves for Trump. Nearly everyone did.
Funny thing that a lot of people don't like talking about. The Amish also decide to break their traditions and vote for Trump, because the way the Democrats were doing it to them, they were taxing their lands, taxing their farms, and the way they were being harassed, pretty much, they were going to be in jail, some of them. And the way the Amish are, they stick together. That's one of the things I love about the communities over there, is they're all together. So when one gets messed with, they're all supportive for each other. So when I read that the Amish actually voted, and almost all of them voted for Trump, that was something right there. Not the Latinos, not that, it's just the Amish decided to break their traditions and interfere in election by giving a vote. That was something.
The madman took everything, every swing state, Pennsylvania, Georgia, my home state, New York, was closer to flipping red than Florida was to flipping blue. Turns out Dick Cheney as Brat wasn't the best message to win over voters. Dems did so bad it really had me thinking, damn, did we steal that election? So what happened here? How did it go so wrong? Is it too late for the Democratic Party, or can they turn this around? Will the Democrats learn from this, or will they double down and get worse? In this video, I'm going to go through all the excuses and the copes the Democrats and the broader left are coming up with to avoid accountability. Read some silly tweets, watch some silly news clips, and even give—
The only way the Democrats have a chance of ever coming back into it is if what we're about to get doesn't keep any promises, doesn't help the country at all, doesn't stop any of the wars that are going on in other areas. If it doesn't do any of those things, and is all just smoke and mirrors, then the Democrats will have a chance of coming back. But if he promises at least 45% of the stuff that he's talking about, then let's just say that unless Bernie Sanders decides to come back into it, that no.
the Democratic Party some advice on how to win 2028. Don't worry, Republicans watching this. They won't listen. Maybe
exactly, they won't listen.
The Barron Trump
They're going to double down and triple down.
Their senses, but not anytime soon. If you only watched or read most mainstream liberal news, it really seemed like Kamala had this in the bag, which is why you should try to get your news from a variety of different sources. Oh, that reminds me. Before we dive into this election dissection, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, a sponsor I've been working with for over 4 years now, Ground News. Back to this election dissection, shall we?
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
From blaming the American people to blaming Joe Rogan, the Democrats and the media are having a hard time coping with their loss, and I don't blame them. It was a pretty big loss. Embarrassing, quite frankly. Donald Trump overperformed in nearly every state, with basically every demographic, and the entire country seems to be shifting more red.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. With democracy. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video from new fags like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the Democrats? Yeah, man, that's a pretty common thing. If you were shocked that I'm left-wing, maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists, no. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists. But for those of you who are new here, hello, I am Shoeonhead. If you ask the right wing, I am Stalin. If you ask the left wing, I am Hitler. Fiscally far left, culturally centrist, socially retarded. But if you really must put me in a box, it's not that hard to pin me down. I'm a populist. Think Huey Long if he was a 5'3" Italian New Yorker woman who still did her hair and makeup like it was 2008. Put a pin in that Huey Long name, by the way. He's gonna come up later. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. My political awakening was jibjab.com. The first time I voted for Obama. I was ready for that hope and change. Instead, we got the crushing of Occupy.
I think a lot of us voted for Obama back then because we all thought that, you know, maybe there might be something happening. Maybe this might be the change that America needed. But instead, we went down a very bad rabbit hole that turned into a bad shitter.
Wall Street and more drone strikes. And from there, it only got worse. I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016, and I watched as the Democratic Party did everything in their power to destroy this man twice. So it is safe to say I am a little biased when it comes to the Democratic Party, but I don't think I've hated them more than I do right now. The truth is, my last video was way meaner and way harsher than the final product turned out to be. When I showed the video to my assistant, he basically had an intervention with me and he was like, Listen, you need to soften this up a bit. It's a few days before the election. You went too hard.
The thing is, though, what Harris did and what she spent was the amount of money that Kamala Harris spent for her campaign. Oh my God. Okay. Just example. Eminem got $1.8 million to give an endorsement. Hold on a second. Can you imagine how much a shelter can use with that money? How many people can get taken care of? Homeless shelters, example, are roughly, to take care of someone for a year, $16,000. Now, just take that for example, $16,000 to take care of a homeless person for a year. Now, again, Eminem made $1.8 million for his endorsement. Oprah made $1 million for her endorsement. Then you have Lizzo and Stallion, $3 million, 3 million, something like that. But then you have someone like Beyonce, who made $10 million. Just think of that, $10 million to not even sing, to just give an endorsement, say a few bits of words. Just imagine what people in this world could do with that money. How many shelters they can build. How much food they can make for the homeless so people are not starving. Programs for people that have children. All these little things that could have been spent. Trump spent money, yes. But I think his campaign was under $250 million, which is a lot of money. But Harris went $1 billion, and then she was still $20 million in debt. Just take that, just wrap your mind around that for a second. All the wasted money she did, and what did it get her? Jack Diddley.
Well, the election is over. And I'm sorry, River, but I'm going
A
home.
lot of people are going to be angry.
You idiots. You morons. You imbeciles.
Tell 'em.
Kamala Harris? Really? That's who you threw up there? The one who dropped out before Iowa? The one who got
She's
blown
cooking.
the out by Tulsi Gabbard? Why didn't you hold a primary? Aren't you the f***ing saviors of democracy? Where the f*** was the democracy?
Let her cook.
Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't f***ing work. The DNC completely neutered that guy, reduced him to this weird token white man. Hello, gentlemen. I too play football. But hey, men weren't the only demographic you completely dropped the ball with. Trump made incredible gains with women, too. Oh, and all those never Trumpers you tried to court, the people who
51% of the women population in the U.S. voted for Trump. Just think of that for a second. People wanted their voices heard because in the end, Trump made himself seem more human than Kamala Harris, which she wouldn't even go on the Joe Rogan show to speak, a show that wouldn't have cost her a dime. Trump was smart. He went on a few podcasts. He didn't spend a dime doing it, and he got to reach to so many people, while she would not.
like the old respectable GOP. You know, the old respectable GOP that led us into a pointless war that cost us trillions of dollars and millions of lives. But we're at least nice on Twitter, that GOP. Yeah, they didn't come out and vote for
Which
your ass
Twitter?
either. So you got Liz Cheney to tag along for what? For f***ing what? You raised $1 billion and ended up $20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe you should have blown it all on celebrity appearances that did nothing. Or maybe it was spending 6 figures on a single-use set for the Call Her Daddy podcast that didn't even hit 1 million views. I want to see a full audit of this campaign because
everyone's asking for a full audit because it seems like it, yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that makes more
it
sense
seems
than
like it's
being
just
a
money
legitimate
laundering.
Presidential campaign. Then they had the audacity to beg their supporters for money after.
Look at it. This was an email that was sent to people that supported Harris. Please let us explain. Harris Fight Fund. First and foremost, we want to acknowledge the fear, confusion, and sadness many of you are feeling at this moment. For others, you may be looking for something meaningful and important to channel your emotions toward. If that's you, then we're asking you to make a donation to the Democratic Party today. Here's why this request is so important. Anybody that spends money to support the losing candidate, you need to reevaluate your life. That's all I'm gonna say. Not to be mean.
How about you? How about every DNC
She's
consultant
cooking!
have this map sewn onto the inside of their eyelids? May
She's
they never
cooking!
have a peaceful wink of sleep for the rest of their miserable lives. So that is how I feel about the whole situation. But what do Democrats...
But she's not the only one that feels like that. A lot of people feel like that. A lot of people feel like that. When they hear the numbers that she spent, oh, like I said, the next video I plan on releasing, you're gonna hear me really like get sick from the numbers that are spent. So stupid. It's again, a person that has to work 5 days a week, and those that work very hard, you respect. Those that have jobs that make you question why you're doing this, to make barely anything, and then you hear the amount of money that gets spent. It's sickening. It's very sickening.
Democrats and the media think? What do they think the Harris campaign did wrong? Why do they think Kamala lost?
I think Harris ran a really good campaign. If there's one person I do not blame for this loss, it is Vice President Harris.
They're so delusional. Oh my God. This is like, you know what? They've all retreated in their little bubble, and they refuse to admit. I think it was still a few people on The View that refused to admit that Trump is the president. President-elect. Soon to be president sworn. And this just, they would rather come up with excuses for why people voted for the orange man when it's so obvious why people voted for him. They were tired of what was going on. They're tired of seeing eggs be anywhere between $6 to $10 for just a dozen.
This is gonna be a long fucking video. The media this morning saying Dems need to have a reckoning. No, we don't. We can't be blamed because we expected Americans to be who they always claim they are. Democrats don't have a messaging problem. America has a racism problem. Kamala...
I gotta love how everything just turns right back to racism. Muslims, Arabs, Latinos, they all voted for Trump. What does that say?
I ran a flawless campaign in 100 days, and I refuse to let y'all gaslight me into believing anything other than that. She lost because she's a woman, and a black one at that.
I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign.
Listen, I'm no political analyst, but losing seems like a pretty big flaw. Truly?
That is a very big flaw. I'm sorry. It's like, there's no way you can go back and do some cheat codes, or there's no Konami code up, down, down, left, right, ABA. She lost because she didn't try to connect with the people. Akoza connected with the people. She didn't.
Don't overthink it. It's because she's a woman, she's a black woman. Don't
Easy
overthink
excuses.
it. In fact, don't think about it at all.
And Kamala Harris lived up to our dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. She ran a remarkable 107-day emergency campaign full of joy and hope.
Kamala Harris...
This sounds like the type of glazing that Ludwig would do to Hassan on Twitch. I'll get to that later.
Harris was the perfect candidate, and she ran a beautiful campaign of joy, empathy, and unity. Joy and empathy and unity doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. No wonder Republicans had incredible turnout and so many Democrats stayed home. This isn't Steven's universe. You just can't, like, joy and empathy and unity your way out of not being able to afford food for your family. CNN has a story titled, Where the Harris Campaign Went Wrong.
Oh, where didn't it go wrong? They should have picked someone that was more competent. They should have had the whole, where people get to decide which one makes more sense. They didn't have that. They just decided, you know what, let's just cheat code her in ahead of everybody, and then that's it. Which you could tell from the little clips that here and there that are surfacing on the internet that Biden was pissed off that he got cheated by his own party. You'll see what I'm talking about soon. But they just refuse to believe that she shouldn't have lost. She was she was the golden pick. She was supposed to be the GOAT. And the time came, she became the dirty pig, the dirty sheep. I don't know.
Nope, I won't read it. Harris ran a great campaign. The story should be titled "Where the American People Went Wrong." La la la.
No, they didn't go wrong.
La 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 la. I can't hear you. It's not me. It's you. La 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 la. The cope is unreal here. They don't even want to listen to criticism. They really think they did absolutely nothing wrong. They only see this as a Trump win and not a Democrat failure. Kamala Harris was not a flawed candidate. America is a flawed country. This incredible tweet here is from Shannon Watts, who is on the board of Emerge America, which is an organization that, quote,
"We show Democrat women how to run for office and win. 1,200 plus in office and counting. From school boards to Congress, defend democracy with us."
shows Democratic women how to run for office. Yeah, we're never getting a female president.
I don't know. I mean, if Trump was to endorse a female, I'm pretty sure she'd win. What to look for in Trump's transition.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure.
I saw this. Someone showed this to me, and I was my side hurt so much when I saw this. He's about to say, just give the remainder of your term to Harris. Let her experience presidency just for a small little while. Give her the handout that she might need. Give her that, just a little trial of like what you could have had. That kind of, it's like, oh my God, it's just, I died laughing. My side hurts so much.
Could resign the presidency in the next 30 days. Make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve.
Wow. What the is this Make-A-Wish president shit? Like she's a little kid who wants to play pretend. Oh, just let her for a few days. What? Please tell me we're not gonna get the first female president out of pity. Well done, America. You failed them both.
Oh, this picture here speaks volumes. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there that are like, I'm not knocking Democrats. I swear to God, I'm not. I was a Democrat turned Republican. But the way some people act after this election became very horrible. Now, my job, I take care of people at their houses, their apartments, or at facilities where elderly dwell. And one of my clients literally said, right after the election was won, if anybody that's a Republican takes care of her, she refuses them. She will be very angry. And here's the worst part. She actually said that she will report false allegations against anybody that she knows that's a Republican that is around her. So, it's just a very ugly thing, and it caught me off guard because before this whole election, she was a very sweet, nice, elderly woman with a little bit of dementia, just a little bit, but still able to handle things. But yeah, it really messed me up when I heard that some people would do false allegations against you for just what you chose. Just because I believe in family values a lot.
The people cannot let politicians down. That's not how this works. As a politician, you are not owed anyone's vote. You have to earn it, and evidently she didn't earn it. We already went through this in 2016. Donald Trump beat both female candidates. Donald iron sealing Trump. It's not our fault the female candidates you're putting up are dog shit. Give us some good female candidates.
I mean, Hillary Clinton with her emails and let's just Pokemon Go to the polls. And Harris with her gun-free level in Fortnite, a game about guns.
And maybe people will vote for them. At this rate, the first female president is going to be a Republican. Mark my words, it's bound to happen. And if it doesn't happen, this was a joke.
You think that's a joke, but that might still be a possibility in 4 or 8 years. I don't know. I gotta read later on if Trump can go for 8 years or if he can only go for 4 years. I doubt he'll be that long in office. As long as he fixes what he wants to fix, he's done. But I would not be surprised if he endorses a female vice president or a female president. That would definitely be something. A female president actually wins. It's a Republican.
One of the groups that showed up overwhelmingly for Trump was Latinos. One of the major stories of the results is the significant surge in support for Trump among Latino voters. Trump nearly erased the Democratic advantage in this group, narrowing the gap from 33 points to just 8. Democrats gonna build the wall 50 times higher after that one. We have to have a very, very uncomfortable conversation about Latino voters in this country.
This is very ugly. This is truly ugly. They had no problem with the illegal immigrants at all. And the people that have, like, that are here legally, that have, like, that one parent or that one grandparent that came from the country that doesn't quite want to be here. And yes, that is breaking the law, but if they only have, like, maybe 4 or 5 years left in their life, I don't really see that being a major issue, a major problem when their kids and their grandkids are here legally and they're being a very strong, you know, supportive source in society. I don't see the real major issue with that. But now that they couldn't use them, they just want to get rid of them. It's like this is the ugly side of politics. This is one of the things I hate every time an election happens, every single time, because that's when you see the ugly of humanity. Makes me wish I was in space right now.
Me watching him deport the Latinos and the Arab Americans after they voted for him. And Cinco de Mayo.
To all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family. Whether
Democrats, by the way, who think that, yeah, Trump is the evil bad man who is going to put people in camps, lie. Is going to throw people away without even a chance of doing anything. That's a lie. But Democrats, in their finest of hours,
you were here legally or not, you gotta go.
I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members.
On X, I saw this post of this guy with his video. I think it was on Clown World, I think it was. But I saw it on X, and I thought this was very vile. This is, again, proof that people would rather be spiteful, rather be petty, rather embrace the sin, wrath, because of they lost.
So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members.
Donald Trump's strongest soldiers. Spiteful liberals.
Yes.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the, no,
That's
it's on
why.
the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
So-
and they were begging people to care about it for years. We
Misogyny
need to
and
take some
sexism.
lessons.
That's what that was.
Another demographic for people that overwhelmingly showed up to vote against Kamala were Muslims. In a Michigan-specific poll of 502 registered Muslim voters, Stein got 59% support, followed by Trump at 22%, and Harris with a tiny 14% of the vote. The results show significant backlash to the Biden administration's handling of Israel's brutal war in Gaza, which has killed at least 43,508 Palestinians, including more than 16,765 children, as well as how the Harris campaign chose to tackle the issue. So how exactly did they tackle that issue? Why, sending that old pervert freak Bill Clinton up to Michigan to talk down to Muslims about Palestine.
I understand why.
I'm surprised he's still alive. I thought he was dead. Or Hillary Clinton absorbed him. But I am so surprised he's alive. Seeing this, I was surprised he was still alive.
Young Palestinian and Arab Americans in Michigan think too many people have died. I get that. But
Muslims really said, we hate you more than the guy that talked about a Muslim ban. Just a side note, look at this fucking guy. It's like he hasn't had his daily dose of adrenochrome in a week. Someone get this man a fresh child stat. Muslims, Latinos, who else are we gonna blame? Ah yes, women. Yes, Trump improved with young men, but he drew in young women too.
Wow, look at that. 52% of all women who look like me are f***ing stupid.
I'm pretty sure 52% of women don't look like this deranged psychopath right here.
Despite making abortion the #1 issue in her campaign, despite Brat Summer, despite the White Women for Harris Zoom calls, and most of all despite the Taylor Swift endorsement, Harris only managed to get +8 with women. Despite it all, many women came out to support Trump, especially Gen Z women. In 2020, 30% of young women voted for Trump. In 2024, 40% of young women voted for Trump. In fact, so many women voted for him that women on TikTok started wearing blue bracelets to signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Swifties, I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets.
Oh, I bet you the bead factory is like, we're finally selling the blue beads! Make more! We gotta keep making more! We gotta keep making more! We're gonna be making so much money from just the blue beads alone!
So we know who we can trust?
Yeah. Anyway, some young women in response to Trump's victory are starting to get into the 4B movement. A movement started in South Korea. Basically MGTOW for women. Women giving up on dating men, having sex with men, having babies, marriage, whatever.
Isn't that another way of calling it, making these women incels? I mean, incel is a person that pretty much chooses to not want to be in a relationship or do anything. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Hold on a second. Incel definition. A person, usually a man, who regards himself or herself as being involuntarily celibate and typically expresses extreme resentment and hostility towards those who are sexually active. I mean, they pretty much... Trump just made a lot of female incels. He made a bunch of female incels. Straight women, this is the time to look into the 4B movement. You do not need a man. I promise! Doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night and officially joining the 4B movement this morning. I was talking to my girlfriend about how a person could be so horribly just end your relationship that could have been like like 6 months, a year, 2 years, even marriage, some of them, over an election loss because of this. It's so ugly. Another TikTok. Or no, it's Instagram.
Table indefinitely.
Cancel all future plans with men. 4B is where it's at. Use their own stupid traditional views against them. Say that you don't want sex before marriage. Say that you are waiting for the right man. They will be seething because they are sexually dependent on women who they call slut.
I mean, people were alone for the longest time anyway, and isn't that the whole passport bros came from? They realized that American women were just not capable of being in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship that's normal, home values, and they just decided to get their passports and leave to different countries and find themselves traditional women. I mean, isn't there also a thing going on where hag maxing, I think the term is called? In my day it was cougar hunting, I guess you'd call it. There's so many different names for everything nowadays. I'm an old person, but they'd rather go to older women than dealing with women of their own age, because women of their own age are into this incel way.
See, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. give them what they voted for. So conservatives won the election and women are threatening to not sleep around. It kind of seems like the conservatives won a little more than just the election. I might do a whole video on the 4B movement. Tell me.
This is literally that meme. I see this as a win.
If you're interested in that, I don't know. Anyway, young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. Nick Sumners, a 21-year-old cosmetic car repairman from Virginia, says he is pro-choice, but when he voted in the 2024 presidential election, he did so for Donald Trump. Despite his personal beliefs, he says that Trump talks about the American people in a way that resonates with him.
Yes.
Without, in his opinion, faulting him for his gender and sexual orientation. I'm a straight white man, and I feel like we take the blame for a lot of things. Of course there are bad guys.
You definitely say that again.
He adds, insisting that he's not one of them just because he voted for Trump. But what appealed to him about Donald Trump was that his campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as. Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with it. When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have proof.
She only is reading the highlighted part. I'm going to read the part before that. Okay. Yeah, because I want to make sure that what's red right there is red right there. If my screen will load. Colby, who only wants to be identified by his first name, highlights the way men are talking about the oppression by some of the left are on the reason he sees men trending politically right. When you tell a young white guy, like, hey, you're the oppressor, and because you're white, you're privileged that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of left wings and Democrats are saying, they're going to reject that, he says. You're not racist, you're not misogynist, you're just a normal person, and we are friends with everyone. We are tired of hearing a lot of BS from a lot of far left.
Privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying. We're not racist, we're not misogynistic, we're just normal people, and we are friends with everyone. We're tired of hearing a lot of this BS from a lot on the far left. I feel like there's this cultural frustration that young men have that they're not allowed to be young men. I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats you MAGA scum alive. I hope you feel a hole in your soul and feel unloved until your dying day. I hope you rot in your deathbed, wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last time.
I see this as a win that we don't have to worry about women like that. If a person had to date someone like that on their first date and they realize what that is and what they become, you know what? I see this as dodging the bullet. And that's dodging a bullet for a lot of people that are going into relationships for the very first time.
Unfortunately, the all men suck branding just isn't good for getting men to ally with you.
Base.
Oh no, it can't be. Is that the consequences of my own actions? Yes, the reasonable and rational men know you aren't talking about them, but maybe it's time to realize that most men aren't reasonable and rational. How do you speak to young men when they're literally Nazis? Why are Gen Z males the f***ing Hitler youth? How do we get young men to get on board with the young men eat and die movement? Hear me out. Maybe not calling them Hitler youth?
They say the word so much, it's like the boy who cried wolf. You're gonna say, there's a wolf, there's a wolf, there's a wolf. There's nothing there. Well, there's a wolf now. It's just the boy who cried wolf. You say it, it's gonna lose its meaning, and then when the time comes something actually does happen, you're fucked. But that's all it comes down to. It's like, they lost, and they want to just blame it on whatever the way they want to blame it. And it's easy to go, oh, that's just a person, they're Hitler.
After the election, a YouTuber I am subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men. And I was excited to see his take. But then it comes time to talk about men's issues, and this is how he did it.
But this is the part where I want to enter the male loneliness epidemic. I know, we're all tired of hearing.
The entire idea of the male loneliness epidemic is it's this idea that really centers men and men's feelings. The premise is of quite a flawed premise to begin with.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this. I do. Unpopular though it is on the left to like give grace to the male loneliness epidemic. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm picking my words carefully so the leftists don't...
Right there! Right there! That's it! Right there! Did you hear what the person just said? What was the person's name? I didn't get a chance to read the name. I'm sorry. But they said it right there. You have to think what to say so you don't offend somebody. Comedians back in the day, they used to have their shows. They used to say what they wanted to say, and if someone got offended, they just took it as a chip off the, bad experience, and that was it. But everybody enjoyed themselves, and they're willing to take the jab if it's like one jab, two jabs, but not like the show is against them. But that's what comedy was. It was uncensored, unfiltered fun. You didn't have to worry about, am I going to offend this demographic? Am I going to offend this crowd? No. The fact that you have to think before you speak in today's day and age is something that people want. They want their freedom of speech. They want to not have to worry about saying like, oh, I want to go get myself some chicken nuggets. Why you say chicken nuggets like that? What do you mean to say it like that? All I said is I wanted to go eat myself some chicken nuggets. But people are always going to find, it's like that saying, you could say that you like pancakes, but there'll be always that one person that says, what do you have against waffles? It's just the fact you have to think before you say something because you're afraid that you're going to make someone angry just for saying something simple. But that's what this person said. He's trying to think of the best way to describe it. That is the problem.
Me, like, don't rake me over the coals for this, but I think that I understand as much as I can understand a heterosexual man.
Yeah, I think we found the answer to the video title. I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues. You see the issue? If you can't talk about this without having to walk on eggshells in fear of your own allies ripping your head off, maybe that is part of the reason men are moving right. Also, I feel like this is really important to say. I don't think all these men are moving right. I think just a lot of them hate the Democratic Party and feel alienated from the left. So what was the overwhelming takeaway from the Democrats and the left? To actually start listening to men? No, of course not. Instead, their solution once again seems to be, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. We need a liberal Rogan ASAP. We need a left-wing Rogan. Democrats are going to keep losing until they have their own Joe Rogan, their own Elon Musk, until they create their own alternative to Fox News. People saying Harris should have done Joe Rogan are missing the point. That wouldn't have helped her. Liberals need to...
Here's the funny thing, and someone said in her comments as I hit the play button, they said they had a Joe Rogan. They had an Elon Musk. And at one point, they even had Donald Trump on their side. Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all three of them back in the day were on Democratic sides. What happened? You got to ask yourself, what was the deciding factor in each of them that turned them? And yeah.
Build their own Joe Rogan. Oh my God, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan.
Yes!
But he was too edgy, too problematic, said too many no-no words, talked to too many no-no people about no-no topics. And in 2020, when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat journalist class freaked the out and smeared him for weeks. The left can't have a Joe Rogan because everything that makes Joe Rogan, you had a liberal Joe Rogan.
Hold on.
His name was Joe Rogan, but he was too edgy, too problematic, said too many no-no words, talked to too many no-no people about no-no topics. And in 2020, when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat...
The problem with Bernie Sanders accepting foe Joe Rogan's endorsement. Why does that look like an F? Joe Rogan's endorsement. The problem with it's a move from the same old Democrat playbook. It never works for the long run.
Journalist class.
Bernie broke my heart when he embraced Rogan's endorsement. Oh my God. I've been a lifelong socialist and a supporter of Sanders since 1980. I expected better from the senator.
Freak the...
Tom Watson said, at this point, there's only one conclusion you can draw. Joe Rogan's racism, hateful transphobia, open misogyny, and disgusting Islamophobia is a feature to Bernie Sanders personally, not a bug. It's 3 days in, the senator has been silent.
Out and
Jody Optimism Bias Jacobson said, every campaign makes mistakes. Good people make mistakes. This is one. Please denounce this and take down the video. Transphobic, racist, sexist, white nationalist, xenophobic endorsement should not be accepted. Never mind celebrated by leaders of progressive movements. Please.
Feared him for a week.
Carlos Maza said, Bernie's campaign's cutting a campaign ad with Joe Rogan's fucking sucks. Rogan is an incredibly influential bigot, and Democrats should be marginalizing him.
The left can't.
Yeah. So he went on the Joe Rogan show, which probably didn't cost him anything. Spoke. Joe Rogan endorsed him. He was running for Democrats then, and they left him to slaughter.
And have a Joe Rogan, because everything that makes Joe Rogan is not allowed on the left. Kamala Harris dished Joe Rogan podcast.
How many times she said Joe Rogan in this episode?
Fears. So Joe Rogan was too problematic, but Liz Cheney was fine? Listen, you don't need a leftist Joe Rogan or liberal Joe Rogan. You just need leftists and liberals to go on Joe Rogan. And that means not giving a shit about being canceled by your own movement.
Look, you can have an argument with Rogan, agree with him, disagree with him, but what's the problem going on those shows? I got vilified by some of the Democratic establishment because I went on Rogan's show. Now a lot of other people are doing just that.
Anyways, liberals should start doing podcasts and TikToks and whatever aimed at setting the youth straight. Ah yes, there's nothing the youth enjoy more than being set straight.
We don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
Oh boy.
We're gonna be under Republican rule for the next 100 years, aren't we?
I mean, when you hear it like that, it definitely does hurt the Democratic ideal there for some people. Not me, though.
Trump's win leaves Democrats asking, where are our bro whisperers? We have to make entertaining, engaging content that men want to watch and care about. Then, over time, you pepper in more progressive views. So you want to start a normal podcast and then start sprinkling in propaganda? Should you even be saying this out loud? Dems need to seriously put all their money into creating propaganda networks to compete with the right's massive amount.
Wait. Democrats need to seriously put all their money into creating propaganda networks to compete with the right's massive amount of propaganda. This person... How are we gonna beat the propaganda? By making more propaganda for us!
Our propaganda.
Klosky, write that down!
Their own propaganda machine, and I'm not even joking a little bit. First of all, again, I don't think we need better propaganda is something you should be saying out loud.
Exactly!
Second of all, Democrats already have that, and have had it for decades. It's called Hollywood. It's called every celebrity, every institution, every piece of media, from movies to video games. Every celebrity from Beyonce to Taylor Swift endorsed her. She had Cardi B at all her rallies. She got the fucking Avengers together.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
Wow, Trump is literally Thanos. By the way, with all these like journalists and people talking about how we need a liberal Andrew Tate, a liberal Joe Rogan, yeah, be prepared to see some of the...
As Nux would say, don't trust the elitists. He literally said, don't trust them because you know what? They have money. Don't accept their endorsement because they have money. They don't need to be there for the average person. They could just be what they want to be. They're actors. Some people would even say they're liars because they act out these characters in movies and things like that. They're lying of what they are to be that. But you know what? They're actors. At the end of the day, they just read lines that someone gives them. And it didn't work for them. It did not work for Democrats one bit. The fact I saw all the Avengers there kind of like, it makes me want to hurl just a little bit extra.
the most forced, overproduced, astroturfed streamers and YouTubers to pop up overnight and subtly or not so subtly start shilling for the Democratic Party. You're gonna start seeing funded DNC plants all over YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, because they really do think the answer to all of this is more podcasts. All the funding in the world won't buy.
I mean, Trump went on Aiden Ross, and at one point, they lost track on how many people were actually watching it. Just imagine how many people were watching Aiden Ross when Donald Trump went on. And he reached every single person there. Joe Rogan had Trump on. Over 3 hours of speaking. A lot of people watched the show. People rewatched it. How many people do you think reached because of Trump? Trump was smart by going the route of what people are with right now. Phones, podcasts, videos. Harris did not connect with anybody. While Trump went on the Joe Rogan show, she refused Joe Rogan because he's problematic. But she went on Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Okay?
You an audience. You could have $1 million set and the best sound and video equipment ever, but it will not buy you a large and dedicated audience. I've been using a Mac laptop webcam and a shitty snowball mic for over 10 years, and you idiots keep coming back for some reason. And listen, it's 2024. Y'all have a camera and a microphone. Be the liberal Joe Rogan you want to see in the world.
Yes.
But the thing is, if people can hear your opinions when they turn on the TV, they're not gonna watch your People tune into alt media to hear alt opinions. Even the most popular leftist streamers, like Hassan for example, spend a lot of time criticizing the Democratic Party. So it's gonna be...
Hassan is definitely one interesting topic I would love to do a video about, but you know what, how about this? I'll do a couple videos not involving Hassan, but I will mention points of Hassan. And if you guys actually want me to cover all the things involving Hassan, his beliefs, what he thinks, the man who literally said on his stream that America deserves another 9/11. If you want me to cover that, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely work on that. I'll make sure to gather enough information, clips, and articles read, and people that are after him, and people that are like truly on his side if you want me to go more into that. But for now, I'm just a regular person who's doing these as a hobby because I have free time on the weekends. Anyway, back to Shoeonhead.
hard to build some kind of like Democrat shill Joe Rogan, but I can't wait to see you try. After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't have pronouns. As you can tell, I'm just a guy, just a regular person. Yeah, but if you do have pronouns, I'll respect them. I'm not one of those kind like to be very mean or hateful. If whatever you are, whatever you accept, I will accept it. I believe in the kind of situation, live and let live. As long as you're not an asshole in this world, I won't be an asshole to you. As long as you're not evil, I won't be evil to you. But yeah.
My influence. Anyway, after the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted
because
for
she
Trump
resonated with the
for president
people.
on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working
Yes!
class. But also you signified change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. Loved ones say you're both straightforward in challenging corruption and broken government. Because it's different than what has been the last 4 years. Something
I mean,
has
when
to
she
go.
got
I feel
into
that
it,
both
she
are
seemed like a
outsiders compared to the
very
rest of
big,
DC
strong
and less
pick for people.
establishment. Voted
She was
Trump,
like
but I like
the
you and
Bernie.
I don't trust either party establishment politicians. The replies, of course,
See, I
were
like
full
you
of
and Bernie.
people
She was like
"These
the
idiots,
Bernie."
These morons, these fools, most depressing shit I've ever seen. These people sound dumb as hell. Such staggering ignorance and stupidity. The median voter. I hate the median voter. I want to destroy the median voter. Why is the median voter this stupid? I hate the median voter. How could this be real? Americans really are the dumbest gentlemen on earth. This is giving me a headache. I don't understand the median voter. Listen, it's really not that hard to understand.
It's not.
It's populism, honey. It's why when I went to January 6th and told a bunch of boomers I was a Bernie supporter, a ton of them reacted like this.
I think he's one of the few honest people yeah, I think he's honest. He beat Hillary Clinton, and he would have beat Joe Biden, too.
People hate empty suits that sound like they're constantly reading from a script. They want someone who tells it like it is. Someone who fights for the everyman, or at least sounds like they do.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Trump's upcoming presidency, Trump 2?
I voted for him.
Oh, you like AOC?
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
Yeah. Remember one thing about why people voted for Trump. They want change.
The average American voter despises the establishment and will vote for anyone who promises to destroy it. And the fact that none of you understand this is a big reason why you lost and will continue to lose until you do understand it. Capiche? The beatings will continue until populism improves. How could people have voted for this felon? How could they vote for Trump, especially after January 6th, where he led a bunch of his supporters to destroy that beautiful, shining beacon of hope? Well, first of all, you have to understand that that's not a shining beacon of hope to most people.
No.
That is a dirty, disgusting brothel that sold out the future of their children and will probably send them into the next world war. After all the indictments, the mugshots, the committees, the documentaries.
God, Shoeonhead, you are seriously... You've done nothing but spit fire this entire video. Jeez.
People clearly don't care about January 6th. And that might scare some people, but... the truth is,
I know Destiny's still up on a January 6th.
And affordable food can do 100 January 6s. It's kind of like FDR said. Democracy has disappeared in several other great nations. Not because the people of those nations dislike democracy, but because they had grown tired of unemployment and insecurity, of seeing their children hungry while they sat helpless in the face of government confusion and government weakness through lack of leadership. Finally, in desperation, they chose to sacrifice liberty in hope of getting something to eat. Speaking of FDR, let's talk a little bit about the guy that FDR stole a bunch of his ideas from, shall we? Someone who the modern Democratic Party should probably try and learn from. That's right, I finally found an excuse to talk about my favorite politician. The man, the myth, the legend, the kingfish himself, Huey Long. Huey Long was the 40th governor of Louisiana from 1928 to 1932. He was a populist member of the Democratic Party and rose to national prominence during the Great Depression. He took on big oil and Wall Street and drastically helped lift Louisiana out of poverty. Long had many supporters and haters.
Whoa!
Celebrated as a
Damn, Shoe? Damn. Very nice.
populist champion of the people, and at the same time, denounced
Now my cosplay urge is back.
To give you a better idea of who Huey was, here are some quotes from the man himself. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with only one dish. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side and a set of Democratic waiters on the other. But no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen. The only difference I ever found between the Democratic leadership and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up and the other from the ear down. But Huey Long wasn't some enlightened centrist, no. The man firmly had a side, and that side was the people. I'm for the poor man. All poor men. Black and white. They all gotta have a chance. They gotta have a home, a job, a decent education for their children.
Yeah.
Every man a king. That's my slogan. When asked if he cared about the bad press he got, Huey replied, "All I care about is what the boys at the forks of the creek think of me." And when Big Oil threatened to leave Louisiana, he said, "If they gotta leave, they can go to hell and stay there."
Whoa!
They don't make politicians like this anymore. Politicians used to be like mob bosses. Now they go on Call Her Daddy podcasts. Sad. Huey had many powerful enemies, and because of this, he was assassinated in 1935. His last words were allegedly, "God, don't let me die. I have so much to do." There's a lot of talk online right now about how we need a Joe Rogan for the left and Andrew Tate for the left, but there's also talk about how we need a Donald Trump for the left, and well, Huey Long was exactly that. And to be completely honest, I don't think you people could handle a Donald Trump for the left. You couldn't even handle Bernie Sanders. You called him a sexist and a racist and did everything in your power to crush him and keep him down. But unlike Bernie, Huey Long wouldn't just lay down and take it. Huey Long would scare the shit out of the modern Democratic Party. But if there's anyone they need to take a lesson from, it's him. Alright, time to get out.
Kind of funny that Huey Long was shot and killed. Trump was almost shot and killed.
This costume. I feel like an old hooer. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class had abandoned them, Bernie Sanders said in a statement about the results of Tuesday's election. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? No. Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing?
No.
Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic power? Probably not. All the groups that Sanders originally courted, young people, Latinos, the working class, are gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats' working class exodus sets off reckoning within party. Democrats, who have long prided themselves as the party for the little guy, instead strengthened their emerging base of financially secure college graduates this election, while a growing number of blue-collar voters embraced Trump and Republicans. Especially alarming for Democrats this election, the exodus of working-class voters from the Democratic Party included not just white voters, but helped Trump make gains with Latino and black men. This realignment crystallized a political reality that is tough for Democrats to swallow. With blue-collar voters flocking away from their party over multiple election cycles, Democrats' refashioned base is becoming more upper-class, urban, suburban, and coastal. It's a narrowed coalition that does not bode well for future elections.
No, it does not.
To put things into perspective, the Trump coalition is closer to the Obama coalition than the Harris one is. That is crazy. That is wild. That is what we call a potential party switch. And I don't really care about how many leftists or Democrats cope about this. We have better union policies, we have better wages policy. Yeah, that might be true, and I agree, but we don't get to decide who the party of the working class is. The working class does. And if exit polls are anything to go by, basic left-wing economic policy is still incredibly popular. People just hate the Democratic Party. White men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. First of all, white men without college degrees built this country, bitch. Second of all, clearly a real Democratic Party strategist saying this. You want to know how to win 2028? Step 1. Stop listening to freaks like this. The election if having a degree was a requirement to vote. And this is what the election would look like if everyone would.
That's what the election looks like. I mean, this is what it is right now. This 226 to 312. Just look at that. Just look at that wave. That this hurts me right here. Massachusetts still being blue. That's my home right there, and it's still blue. That hurts.
Was allowed to vote. Oh wait, that's this election. I too hate democracy.
And I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America?
Democrats have a smug problem. The day after the election, an NBC News chart circulated on Instagram that highlighting exit poll data showing that the more education you had, the more likely you would vote for Vice President Kamala Harris over President-elect Donald Trump. Some liberals used the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet Trump's victory was both definitive and diverse. He won broad swaths of the electorate, making significant gains in New York and California, and winning over larger percentages of Latino voters and young voters than in 2020. He also won a majority of first-time voters. Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that patronizing, visceral vibe is obvious. It's a massive turnoff to many other voters.
Our choice, our decision.
Democrats have to overcome if they want to reconnect with voters. Once, the coastal liberal establishment had an air of open-mindedness. But now, these elites have evolved into the provincial, narrow-minded scolds they once critiqued. All their education has narrowed their worldview. Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is right now. Even coming from some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know better and spend a lot of their time trying to bring people to the left. Your college degree does not make you any smarter. than a working class person without a college degree. And more importantly, don't talk down to a vast majority of the population, because despite how badly you want to believe it, they are not stupid. They are the people who grow your food, build your houses, pave your roads, fix the plumbing in your luxury apartments. And guess what? There are more of them than there are of you. So maybe you people should start listening to them instead of wagging your finger in their faces as if disagreeing with you is some moral failing, because it's not. These people aren't all racists and Nazis or whatever. They are normal people. They are the proletariat. They're who you should be fighting for. And they don't believe you are fighting for them. More importantly, there is a difference between being educated and being smart. IQ isn't just about how many books you've read or how many words you know. A lot of it is about pattern recognition, and boy did I recognize some patterns here. Maybe you guys should have listened to the bimbo with populist brain rot, because she seemed to be right about a lot of this. If the Democratic Party wants to win another election, they need to start understanding the importance of populism. Drop the divisive identity politics and focus on the bread and butter issues, or you are doomed. Become the party of Huey Long again, or you are doomed. But you know what?
No, they're doomed.
Maybe you're not doomed. Because if Trump fails to deliver on his promises, or we get like George Bush 3, it's totally possible that the populism vacuum will be open again.
See, I said this earlier, that if he does not deliver what he promised, then the Democrats have a chance of coming back into it. But I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to deliver at least 60% of what he's saying. I really do.
The Democrats take advantage of this and actually put up a good candidate? No. They're gonna put up like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and the populism vacuum will be filled by people like my Twitter mutual and soon-to-be Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Yeah!
That is still so weird. What do I do with this power? Hey, J.D. Best.
Oh no.
JD, I have an idea. It's called...
Is this real?
Patriot Care, and it's healthcare, but our tax dollars go to it instead of bombs. Doesn't that sound cool? If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The fact is, this election was a complete rejection of the liberal ideology. Or it was just because of inflation and people want to afford eggs again.
Yes!
Yeah, it was probably that. It just kind of sucks to see the party you voted for your whole life, the party you grew up with, just get worse and worse over time. After this, the Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna become like the new neocons, but gay. And I have no idea how a second Trump term is gonna go. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Congrats to RFK, I guess. I'll see you guys in the Adderall labor camps. Otherwise known as the concentration camps.
Oof.
Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Why do you think Trump won? And what could the Democrats
with the
do
people
to win 2028? Anyway, if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Also, if you can, donate to me on Patreon, or you could do a little tip with the little tip jar down below somewhere. It helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And I will...
If I could help with Patreon, I would, but unfortunately I can't. Plain and simple. I can't. I'm cheap. I don't make as much money as I'd love to do. If I could, I'd be one of those people on Twitch where, oh, I just want to give subs to all my friends and stuff like that. I wish. In a different day, in a different world, I would, but unfortunately, I don't. I just don't have the money for stuff like that.
See you very soon with a new video that is very different than this one. Some of you might like it. I know a certain community will, but that is it for now, so bye.
Anyway, like I said, there's one more little bit at the very end. This is the bit I saw first before anything. I will definitely put I'll put her link to the video and her channel in the description. But it's definitely... Now watch this very funny... Oh yeah, and one more thing, Kamala. Make America great again. I just... Like I said, everyone was like, why he now acting a little bit more normal than he normally does? Instead of like all senile like. It's because he got his vengeance back. I mean, the man wore a friggin' MAGA hat. Okay? He called Trump and congratulated Trump and told him he'll make sure the transition is very simple. I mean, does that sound like a person who's very angry that he did not win? No, it sounds like a person who's spiteful that his own side turned on him and decided to, you know, let's cut our losses and try to do the DEI way. Make a woman in charge that didn't deserve it. when they could have found someone. They could have got Michelle Obama, okay, and she would have had more numbers than Kamala Harris. Well, yeah. Anyway, that's Shoeonhead's video, Downfall of Democrats, the truth about the 2024 election. And thank you all very much for watching with me this very funny but very factual, very truthful video, and very real too. She was spit nothing but fire. Shoeonhead, another amazing video. I already gave it a like and everything. Like I said, if I could support you even further, I would. I really wish I could. But until then, I'm just a simple space pilot enjoying videos of people that do very amazing videos. And yeah. Also, thank you for the people that subbed because of my last video of the Whoopi Goldberg did an oopsie. All the likes, the comments, I made sure that to give those comments likes. It means a lot that I actually got some views. And almost 600 views on one of my videos. That's something right there. Thank you all very much. And if you like what you've seen, I'm nervous, I'm sorry, I don't like doing these parts, but I have to get used to them. But if you like what you've seen, please give it a like, share the video if you want to share it with somebody, sub. It don't cost anything to sub on YouTube, thank God. We're not like Twitch, which I'm disappointed with Twitch because of the whole Hassan thing. Again, if you want me to talk about the Hassan in a video, please let me know in the comments. And I am going to be doing about Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube content creators who I don't know one thing about them, but I want to learn about them, mostly their downfalls and stuff like that. So yeah, if you like that idea, please let me know. This video has gone on way too long. I gotta start making shorter videos and positive videos. The next one I do about a very strong female giving Democrats what they deserve is going to be much shorter than this one. Again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You all take care, and remember, be better for each other. Don't be like what's going on right now. Take care for now. Bye. Be safe, everybody.